who wouldn't want to sort of right the wrongs that are surrounding.
Yeah, we're starting with this. Yeah, we're starting with this. This is nuts.
All right.
Yep. Here we go. I see you in chat.
Our show has decided that Hooded Justice was a black man, and that William Reeves is the first superhero.
I love, by the way, how this is set up.
Justice wearing a noose around his neck.
And I love that.
Look like a Klan hood.
Yeah, and it's telling you like this whose voice you're hearing. That's great.
It's through my fingertips.
Dude, I messed up.
Wow. Who am I? Oh my gosh. And you guys, the music for this show from Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor. Are you kidding me? So good. This is getting me hyped.
Make sure yours changes you for the better.
For many people,
it's not live, random person. I'm choosing what we're watching.
In the comic.
And after our stream, you can go and choose anything you want to watch. And it's so cool.
Right? Me as a person of color, when I saw a noose around somebody's neck, what that reminds me of is a lot of the lynchings that took place here.
Scribble.io.
This is, wow.
When we started as a group of writers,
I have not.
We had about a 12-week session to revisit the original source
I am
material.
not.
Also to kind of build out what happened in the 30 intervening years.
I am so sorry.
And starting to slide in this kind of retroactive continuity of the story of Hooded Justice.
There's a phrase comic book fans are intimately familiar with.
My thumbnail on this. Oh my god. Oh, there it is.
Hooded Justice was black.
Yeah.
And how he
Change.
Wearing that noose.
And we're gonna switch it to this thumbnail. And perfect.
Officer working in a corrupt town in New York City. And so for
You said what?
a lot of work,
Thank you so much.
well for everyone. It needs an equalizing force.
This is like the most intense.
So what's good, guys? This is TheWay8 here to say, welcome to DC Fandom, and we're gonna react.
Wow.
This was intended to be
the video
the means of my destruction.
To these
and I broke it.
videos in the small hand corner right there. The little box where the guys reacting to videos. So this might be
Danny Orange says the Hooded Justice retcon
here
is maybe one of the most brilliant of all time, in my
Brawlhalla
opinion.
is the other game
I
my other
agree.
friend is doing is
This is a great Saturday.
The actual subjective position of our characters.
DC Fandom Part 2, baby.
Alright.
Wow.
Oh.
We talked a lot about Tulsa being Krypton for Will Reeves.
Yep.
The massacre
Krypton?
of Tulsa expels this young boy.
That's what people picked up on.
I'm
Absolutely.
gonna react with this guy, so it's alright. Yeah, okay.
Baby in the basket, like Moses.
Just like Bruce Wayne was a little boy when his parents were killed, but he doesn't become Batman until he's an adult.
He has spent his entire life believing that if he were able to become a police officer, like his sort of childhood hero Bass Reeves, he's going to be able to get this justice that he wasn't able to get as a child.
Yeah.
We started to talk about what was happening in New York in the late 30s and what it would be like for an African-American policeman to be on this largely white force.
Wow. Stephen Baker actually living in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The setting of the new Watchmen show. That's incredible.
How's everybody doing?
You're watching me
everybody is doing alright.
But this video was on the HBO Watchmen Blu-ray. It's a special feature, and it is one of many, 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 many that you can watch on DC Fandom all day today. This is the most brilliant workaround. This is the most,
there's a white man under there.
Because
there was a man of color under there, they wouldn't view him as a hero, they would view him as a villain.
I hope they show the panel, because there's a panel where you can see Hooded Justice's skin color in the Watchmen comic. Yeah.
Around the time that Hooded Justice stops trolling the streets.
Yep.
That's what the text suggests.
You can't stand
Yep.
to see what you become. I'm still me.
I love that.
I think that so many actors, all we want to pursue is just looking for really strong narratives and just having.
God, he did an amazing job.
Complex and multi-dimensional and just having something to say. And I think it's always exciting to play someone who's just searching for their purpose in life, who they are as an individual, and feeling comfortable in his skin.
The relationship that Will has with Nelson Gardner.
And the fact that he's gay, like,
is really
wow.
tragic.
Nelson welcomes Will Reeves into his home, into his bed.
Yeah.
he's still not going to support him publicly.
You said you would help me.
I'm afraid you're going to have to solve Lack and Rex all on your own.
Wow.
No! Stream is unavailable. Gotta find a new one. I am so sorry, guys. Hold on. My stream. I was doing fine. Until they said, nah. They just kicked me out. Nah. I can't find my own. Give me a second, guys. I am prepared. I am prepared for later tonight.
Photoshop users, you need to see this. I'm hosting a free masterclass on the 10 best secrets.
Dang. You said what, Patrick?
The petty or grandiose impulses that just come in conflict with the lead characters. So all of us, I think, like to play well-written, rounded characters, being driven by something.
Did something happen?
Was always unheard of.
How's everybody?
I thought that there would be script changes, and I didn't want to be too locked in.
Justice League, and Sinestro wasn't
All
expecting
right.
the future was going to turn bad, and Russell Gould was trying to
We'll
say
fix this right here.
So frankly, I'm in the wrong room.
So we might have a little advertisement. So I
Would you say
do
is
apologize.
the most kind of dangerous DC mastermind that you've played?
Nobody blames the lion for eating the wildebeest at the watering hole. No one goes, that's cruel.
There you go.
No, so there are people who think, well, power should survive, and the strong should punish and absorb and eat and kill the weak. And so it might not be humanity as we recognize it. It's just inside their own heads, these characters can justify, maybe because of the violent world they grew up in or because of the ugliness they've seen, whatever our position is on it, they go, look, this is the way the world is. Everyone else is a naive idiot. They think differently. And so the most dangerous is the brightest, and that's Lex. But my goal with Lex was, frankly, saving the planet, and it wasn't enough for him, Earth. He then went off to study the rest of the
If he could what?
I think Superman was actually the most dangerous because he had the most power. And Superman unchecked is...
Oh, I thought you said Black Man. I was like,
John,
huh?
what was it like for you bringing Lionel to life? How did you approach that role? Because I was talking so much about how Lex is this mastermind, but you don't get a mastermind if you don't have the dad that kind of seeds what might be.
I mean, if you believe in it.
When he gets older.
Somebody backed out of playing Lionel just a couple of days before they shot the pilot. They said they might have you back for a couple of other episodes or something. The second season, they offered me the golden handcuffs, you know. So I was tied to them. But I thought Lex was spineless, you know. The thing I gave him shock treatment to make him a stronger man. He just was a whiner who didn't stand up. So this is Lex before he became Lex, I guess.
Can we get into a little bit of doing the Riddler on Batman the Animated Series?
You know, I had done, I'd worked with Andrea Romano, directed it and cast it and everything. But I got a call one day, and she said the guy that was going to play the Joker, we're having to replace. So Mark, what's his face, who was going to play the Riddler, moved up to the
Wait, did I even find the right
and
commentary?
She said, so would you
I don't feel like I did,
Riddler
Loki.
3 episodes? I only did 3 episodes. So I just didn't do a voice. I was me, having fun with the language. So, Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Superstar Mark Hamill.
I thought he was doing that as a joke. Jason's
I did too.
Hold up.
I have names and knees. They're the first to go. I'm an older man.
Real-time voice changer for games. One of the most famous is that.
What? They got real-time voice changer?
Clancy, what do you think it is that makes Lex such an enduring character?
I might have
Lex
to.
is sort of he's a chameleon in that universe and can embody any
voice changer,
any kind of threat, and have it be credible because he is the smartest guy in the room.
Legends of Tomorrow, el personaje que ha construido.
Oh shoot, this is
impervious to bullets.
Oh shoot, that's Hispanic.
Arthur can fly. To beat Lex, you gotta do more than that. You gotta be able to outthink him. You gotta
or
be able
Spanish.
to
Oh my god.
to win hearts and minds.
So kind of that being said, and having played this character for so long, if Lex were real today in 2020, what do you think his reaction would be to the world?
Oh man,
He's
what
gonna
would he
demolish
think? I
everything.
think he'd see all sorts of exploitation opportunities. I mean, there's all sorts of horrible things that are happening that Lex's devious mind or Lex's practical mind would be able to leverage into some kind of.
Am I watching the same thing? I feel like I am.
Agglomerating goal that he would think up.
So, Mark, you played a lot of supervillains, dangerous characters. What has been your favorite to play?
Well, the principal supervillains I played are Sinestro in Green Lantern and Dr. Sivana. And they're both essentially quite similar. I mean, in the comics, as is often the case, villains start off as good guys and then something happens to them. They're either corrupted by big business or they're ridiculed by their peers or something happens to force them to be looking at the dark side. And Sinestro is the same in Green Lantern. He's the head of the Lanterns and is a very accomplished military kind of guy who is in charge of this cosmic police force, but is then seduced over to the dark side.
Yeah, it's about Twitter.
And finds it,
but yeah, it was. This
way
is
too
the
interesting.
thumbnail for
and
today.
exactly the same thing, funnily enough, happens to Savannah. I think he's given the
Yeah,
choice
I'm actually live with you guys on there.
Good or experiment with evil. And I think the temptation of evil is just too great.
Yes,
what would you say
are
is your favorite
alive.
part about playing supervillain?
I mean, you can't.
Being a
You guys are
supervillain
not
is
like
always wonderful to play because you
video
have such
chat
amazing
wise,
powers. I mean, both
I mean, I could.
Sinestro and Dr. Savannah were capable of flying and flying at high speed.
I mean, I haven't
That's
tested
always
that
something
out,
that,
to be honest.
whenever I've asked what sort of superpower would I enjoy, flying is definitely right up there.
You saw it.
So that's always fun. Like I say, the costumes are always amazing, and we found a really incredible one for Dr. Savannah, a sort of high neck and a leather coat that blew in the wind. Sinestro had this very kind of incredible green uniform that was painted on, literally, yeah, they just always look so good. They get the best costumes, they get the best lines, and I think there's also something really cathartic about being able to indulge the dark side. So, you know, you get the opportunity, nowhere else is this true, particularly, to dabble in what it might be like to have this incredible power and to dabble in a little bit of evil every now and again. And of course, what's wonderful is at the end of the day shooting or at the end of the movie, you can come home and be the nice guy that I am.
If you could pick someone out, an antagonist that you haven't gotten to play yet, what character would each of you want to play? We'll just do a couple, like, a Robin quick. We'll start with you, Marvin.
Joker is my favorite antagonist villain of all time.
Who would you guys pick, though?
He's probably the best.
As an antagonist, like,
my,
you know.
my upbringing, like when I was coming up as a kid.
Yeah.
Every iteration of him, I love dearly for own individual reasons. I would love a shot at it, you know, in some way, shape, or form. Like, that would be a dream. Like, I don't know what the heck I would do with that right now, coming from what I've seen in recent times. But that's a dream of mine. The Joker, to me, he's the pinnacle of it, you know, totally.
What about for you, Dietrich?
I'd really like to be the Riddler. I think he's underestimated as a bad guy.
I think
he's really smart. He also loves to have a good time.
You said let's go. I want to be Poison Ivy. And crap, there's a freaking advertisement. Crap, that's all we need.
Strange things have been happening ever since we brought this here. Everything near it has been so much faster. Even computers.
We've never seen anything like this.
I mean, she's all about the nature. She wants freaking light not to be interfered. And, you know, I mean,
no one can know about this.
I mean, in order to do other things,
What's going on in here? You know, our machines, our laptops, they run faster when we're close to it.
Even the International Space Agency wants it for themselves. But we won't let anyone have it.
Alright, she kisses you.
There's a coming headed right for us. That way. Go! Go!
Who's there? Show yourself.
My God,
I'm here for what's mine.
I can't even skip
He's
it.
coming for it. Stop him.
I am so sorry, guys.
It's right.
So advertising. The sorrow. Step walking something you didn't need to watch. This is
Here's how you use it.
That's incredible. What
Oh,
is this?
that's, you know,
SK Hynix Gold P31.
Should we all get raw hollow?
Can I have one too?
Raw islet?
You can go get it at Amazon.com.
No.
SK Hynix Gold Solid State Drive for supernatural speeds.
No, I was just asking. Like,
Upgrade to SK Hynix Gold.
All play raw hollow. And like.
These eco-friendly packages are great.
All right. Another 10,000 more orders.
What makes Starborn the greatest game you've never heard of? Well, to begin with, it's basically Civilization in space, but with thousands and thousands of players. And the absolute gargantuan size of the 3D map is staggering. The sheer number of players vying for galactic dominance is incredible. And they do this in a political landscape that's completely driven by themselves. And it's the kind of people this sort of game attracts. Strategists who create elaborate plans of attack, politicians who debate and scheme, turtles who build vast industrial empires, and the instigators who just want to see burn. When you combine them all on Discord, you get a wonderful, helpful community that produces incredible stories of the rise and fall of empires. Many of the devs were hired from the community, and they hang out on Discord all the time. The community manager regularly makes a fool of himself with music videos, and the CEO has problems pronouncing the word
Strategy. Okay.
Then there's the rich customization of your empire, with factions that define your overall playstyle, and your choice of policies that reinforces it. And that each station is uniquely customized. It's all of these things. The magnitude, the community, the politics, the strategy, and the stories that are unavoidably created as players live out miniature timelines of human expansion. It's the journey each game becomes that makes Starborn the greatest game you've never heard of.
Where's Jeremiah? Alright, he's at work. I mean, if you try hard enough, it would.
Of all the villains, he's actually the one
and we're
that
back.
seems like he'd be fun to hang out with.
John, is there another DC villain antagonist that you want to play?
Oh, I'm waiting for somebody to drop out. I don't know.
Oh, shoot, here's the guy who plays
Yeah, I'll do it.
Mr. Krabs.
Yeah.
Mark Strong.
I recently saw some fan
He's
art
on the-
that
check it
showed
out.
me as Mr. Freeze.
What?
That was quite fascinating because it looked quite incredible. And Mr. Freeze has this armory of sub-zero temperature weaponry, and he has this kind of amazing suit and this amazing look. And that's the point of the villains, is they all look they're so well crafted, and they get such great lines and such great costumes that I thought that would be an interesting guy to have a go at. And I've always sort of thought one day I should play Lex Luthor, just because I look like him, and he's Superman's arch enemy. And most importantly, actually, he's human. He doesn't really have any special superpowers. So his particular brand of villainy and evil becomes more interesting because it's all cerebral, it's all in his mind, it's all about how he behaves, and his jealousy of Superman is so great.
Please like and
I think he
subscribe
would be a fascinating villain
to
to
the
play
channel.
because it doesn't just rely on the
Enjoy.
weaponry and the power.
What about you, Jason?
Well, I would say the Joker, but a couple of people have done it relatively well recently, and I wouldn't really want to play that comparison game. Years ago, I was in London somewhere. I knew Heath Ledger, obviously, because we did The Patriot together, and I saw him, and he was out. I said, "Hey, dude, how are you?" The olden days, we had a big hug and a kiss, and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Oh, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare." I said, "What?" He said, "I've agreed to play the Joker." And I went, "The Joker? You're kidding me." said, yeah. I said, what are you going to do? He said, I don't know. I said, did you rewatch Jack Nicholson? He said, are you crazy? No, of course not. I don't want that in my head. I remember it so well. I said, do you have a plan? He goes, no, I've got a little book and just writing ideas down. I was kind of terrified. And the next thing I saw was him on the screen conquering the Joker in the most magnificence. I have a feeling, given now that Joaquin Phoenix did it so brilliantly, the Joker might be the Hamlet of DC villains. They said about Hamlet, it's like firing an arrow in the air. You just can't miss. If they hadn't done it, I'd like to have a crack at the Joker. But since they had, I wouldn't mind having a crack at Wonder Woman gone bad.
I like it. And what about you, Clancy?
I think we should just end on Jason. I think that was brilliant.
You're like, I'll just watch all of their performances as these other villains. Well, thank you guys all so much. This has been such a great chat. I loved hearing all of your stories, and I'll be waiting to see what the next antagonist, awesome character is that each of you guys are playing. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was just going to add on behalf of everyone, we're available.
I'm so excited to be here and talk to our next awesome panel of guests. So first up, I want to say a big welcome to someone that is no stranger to Gotham City, having voiced the Joker in numerous Batman animated films and video games, as well as voicing Batman himself in multiple incarnations. Welcome, Troy Baker. Next up, from Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, and Raven for 2 decades apiece, and Harley Quinn in numerous productions, as well as Poison Ivy, and so many more. Tara Strong. And next up, she's an actress, singer, and author, and so much more. This multi-hyphenate is a cinema icon, and today we are going to be talking about her role as Catwoman from 2004's The Batman. Please welcome Gina Gershon. How are you?
I'm good.
Next up, we've got the man behind so many iconic performances, including the voice of Lex Luthor for nearly 25 years. Today, it is all about Mr. Freeze and Bane, though. Please welcome Mr. Clancy Brown.
What's up?
From Lex Luthor in Justice League Gods and Monsters to Ra's al Ghul in Batman Under the Red Hood to Sinestro in Green Lantern Emerald Knights, please welcome Jason Isaacs. And we have, of course, got possibly the most prolific actor in DC animated history, having voiced nearly 50 different characters, including the Joker, Lobo, Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze, and Lex Luthor, not to mention everyone's favorite Aquaman, the outrageous John DiMaggio. Let's get into it.
Oh no, why? Why he do that? Okay.
I just want to say that she's a catbird. I just want to say that right now.
I mean, stop.
The Amazon games in Themyscira are a famous part of Diana's origin story.
Aquaman?
It's the triathlon on steroids.
Petty's vision for this movie is so ambitious.
Why are you so against Aquaman?
Athletes and the lovely young Lily from the very start, and all of it was practical. We got to stretch our imagination and develop a full-scale obstacle course.
Shooting these scenes was the most complex thing because you're designing everything from the ground up.
The stories are personal and beautiful and intimate, but at the same time, they're huge and mind-blowing.
It just looks gorgeous, and the world is so big, and the quality is so high.
Hello, everybody. I am Tiffany Smith, and I'm so excited to be here. And today we are chatting about becoming an Amazon. This is so cool because we've got people from all over the world coming together to chat today. And first, of course, I want to welcome Patty Jenkins. How are you doing?
I'm so excited to be here. This is such a fun thing to get all of these incredible people back together again.
Everybody's so excited to talk about Wonder Woman 1984, but today we're talking all about the Amazons. So what did you want to do differently this time with the Amazons?
What we didn't get to do in the first movie is something that is so famous in the lore of Wonder Woman, which is the Amazon games. It was great to see the Amazons at play and competing against each other in a very good-spirited but serious way.
Oh, now he wants to draw horse
riding and archery and, you know, all of these incredible things. So it was just a blast to say what would their games.
Why you want to go back to the
seeing all the different things that they could do? Did that impact the casting of the Amazons for this one? What were you really looking for when you were bringing them in to say, these are going to be my Amazons for this film?
I I cannot stress how unbelievably hard it is to be one of these Amazons. Because even in casting it, we're looking for no small feat. We're looking for someone who's an awesome person, who has a great positive vibe, who's a great athlete, work ethic, horse riding. It was so incredibly hard and daunting and such a long process. So really, these women that are joining us here today are the best of the best of the best in the world. People from all over who could hit every single one of those marks, and just a terrific group of people.
Are you kidding?
That's such an important part of the Amazon spirit, is not just being a great athlete and a great star, but you're also a great person.
The group of women also is so diverse. Like I said earlier, you know, we've got people all over the world, and I love that because it's like you see this and you're like, any woman anywhere could be an Amazon. And that's, I think, even in the climate today, that makes it so much more approachable, and it just is awesome. It just warms my heart even more.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And here's my favorite thing about it. That happened naturally. When you look for the best people in the world, it happens naturally. When you are open to, like, what does it take to be this kind of person? And that was always our beliefs with the Amazons. Yes, they're an international crew because the Amazons were born to bring love to mankind. So they were born all over the world. All of these women have such different backgrounds. Like, some are athletes, some are actors, some are, you know, physical therapists. It's like all such different backgrounds. Really cool.
All right. Well, speaking of this international crew that is spreading love, I'm gonna, like, from now on, that's the intro for the Amazons. Let's bring in our Amazons. Hi everybody. How you doing?
Hi. How are you?
I want to know more about you guys. So let's start with you, Bronte.
Hi everyone. I'm Bronte. I'm living just outside London at the minute, which has been very helpful in this pandemic. It's been nice to have a bit of countryside just to escape the city, which has been amazing. But I'm mainly a dancer and model, and I've been lucky enough to travel to 60 countries in the world and 25 US states. That's my interesting fact.
International crew right there.
International.
And we've got Dana with us too.
I'm Dana Grant, and I'm from New Zealand. I've been known as the ultimate Kiwi stunt woman. Been doing stunts now for over 20 years. I specialize in horses, high falls, fire.
I love how casual you are about it. You're like, stunts wise, whatever, I'll do it. It's awesome.
Is there any other ones?
We've got Jessie joining us. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. I'm Jessie Graff. I'm a stunt woman from LA, and I compete on American Ninja Warrior. During quarantine, I wrote a new song about what it's like to be a ninja training at home during quarantine and learn to sing it in sign language.
Whoa! That's amazing. Now you're making me feel bad about what I have not accomplished during quarantine. Right, let's move on to our next Amazon. Miranda, how are you?
My name is Miranda Chambers. I'm from a very small town in Finland, but I'm half English and I live in London now. I'm a dancer and choreographer and model and singer and actress. Well, this was my first job, much like Bryony, sort of, oh, this would be fun. Wow, what happened kind of thing. A fact about me is a couple of years before moving to London, I won the Finnish National Championships in contemporary dance twice in a row.
You guys are awesome. I love this so much. So next up, let's move on over to Jade. Jade, how are you?
I'm good. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. I'm Jade Johnson. I live in London at the moment, and between London and Canada, my partner lives in Canada. I am a mum, 3-year-old Lucas, who runs me all over the place. But I'm also a 2-time Olympian who's allergic to sand. So that's a little bit of a random fact. Olympian in the long jump, let me say. So yeah,
into sand.
Yeah, so it made it a little bit more of a challenge, let's say. It's already a challenge as it is, but yeah, so competed my whole career and was allergic to sand, jumping into sand pits. So I just try and jump over them. Didn't quite make it, but tried.
Maybe that was the motivation that got you to go to
that was always the motivation, definitely.
That's awesome. All right, next up, Brittany, how are you doing?
Hi, Tiffany. I'm well, thank you. My name is Bryony Scarlett, and I'm living in London. Little facts about me: I started off in dance and musical theatre, so performed in the West End, and then went into acting. And just as I was thinking, I want to be an actor, this came along. So it really gave me the best start. And a weird fact about me is I'm a phobia of pelicans. Super random.
Pelicans.
Okay, so I don't think that you and Jade should go to the beach together anymore.
No.
All right, and next we've got Mo. How are you?
Hi, Tiffany. I'm good. My name is Mo Shashagwan. I am from Nigeria, but I live in the UK at the moment. I am a physiotherapist and a professional high jumper, and I work in the NHS.
Next up, Gwendolyn. Hello, Gwendolyn.
Hi,
I said
Tiffany.
tailspin.
Hi, everybody. So happy to be here. I am originally from Bath, England. I'm an actor, singer, entrepreneur, so I'm always doing a lot of things. I'm a mother of 3. Getting to show them what I got to do on this was once in a lifetime experience for your children, to see their mum running and jumping and doing things that most mothers don't do. My interesting fact is I was a Price is Right model for 12 years, and I am the longest running woman of color on a game show ever.
Whoa! I just have like all of you guys like a massive round of applause for how incredible you all are. This is so cool. And Patty, freaking incredible job getting all of these women together. I mean, I know it takes a whole group, but seeing all just this small amount of them, because I know there's even more Amazons that it took to make the movie. But let's get into some questions with you guys. Dana, what was it like for you working with all of these women? Obviously, I can see you all virtually, but it's got to be a totally different vibe when you're all together.
Oh, it was amazing. Like, I've done so many films over my 20 years, and this is the highlight of my career. It's unexplainable, the bond that we had as the Amazons. It was, I'm going to cry about it. We've stayed really good friends. And, oh gosh, sorry. We had each other's back through the whole show. Yeah, it was beautiful. So thank you.
I love you, Dana.
That's so sweet. I love that. It seems like you guys just have this great sisterhood. And I'll go over to you, Mo. Was there a particular moment on set that you were like, this sisterhood has been like solidified? I really feel like we're in this.
Yeah, definitely. I think the day that sticks in my mind the most was when we were on the bars. I'll just say that. I think everyone knows that day. It was a really long filming day. It was really hot. We were all really tired. So, you know, even the girls that weren't on camera at the time, you know, they were really, you know, bringing us snacks, bringing us drinks, cheering us on, just getting us through the whole day. And I think at the end of it, we all just kind of hugged each other, and just, it was the day when I realized like we were all in this together and we were sisters.
Rajay, I know to get ready for this role, it's not just the physicality, and there is a lot of that, but mentally too. How did you prepare for it?
I think in total, I don't know if it was 6 months or it felt like 6 months, but we were in that studio training forever. It was crazy. But for me, I think it was about week 2 or 3 of training that I sort of mentally never left being an Amazon. Like, I went from going home and being Bronte, and then coming to the studio and being my Amazon character. And then all of a sudden it was like I was the same person. And even to this day, I still feel like I carry my Amazon through with me. Like, I've never left that character behind. Like, she brought so much out of me, and even be surrounded by all these girls, like, they brought more and more out of me. And it was just such a crazy, crazy time, but so worth it. Such a memorable experience.
Jesse, how does it feel for you to know you are forever going to get to be an Amazon?
It's crazy because it feels like this is a role that has just been in my heart for my whole life. From being a tiny kid running around in the forest, like running up the tree, doing backflips, trying to be like Xena, who was actually Dana, doubling her at the time, to appear in that world and have like the entire world pop up around me and be surrounded by Amazons and have it all come to life, so that it's not just like in my imagination, it's like living in the real world. And to get to have that in my memory for the rest of my life is the most amazing thing ever.
And of course, I want to talk to little Diana. We've got Lily joining us. How are you, Lily?
Hi,
Hi.
Oh, it's the
So
little
we've
one
been
from the
chatting with all of
movie.
these Amazons, and what I love so much is obviously you have to
Sarcastic. I don't
compete
know
with
why.
them in this film. What was that like for you, competing with all of these incredible women?
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. They're all so lovely. And I think, in real life, I just think to be surrounded by these women as I'm, tiny, becoming a woman, I think they were such a role model to me.
What was your favorite part about playing Diana?
I think her hard work and her work ethic, and just she keeps going no matter what. And I think she's very much like me in person, and I think at home I'm her, and when I go filming I'm her as well. And I think that's my most favorite part about playing young Diana.
I love that. I know that we've talked about all the different stunts and things you guys had to do to prepare, but I also hear that, Brianna, you did something different to prep. Was there like music or also maybe some kind of a thing that you guys all did to get like ready, get hyped up?
Yeah, absolutely. We were training for months, and as amazing as that was, you're going to have those days when you're exhausted or just feeling like, oh, I don't know if I can do this workout. So we would, like, music was like our best therapy. We would stick on an amazing track, turn up the volume. We would literally have this like dance session going crazy in the gym. Like if anyone opened the doors and came in, they'd be like, what is going on? What are they doing? They've lost their minds.
Yeah.
But it would give us that energy boost, like be like, okay, sisters all together, we've been grooving, and then like, okay, we can start the workout. So like Jenny was really good at gauging like, okay, this is a day where they're feeling like they need a bit of a lift. So she'd be like, okay, the good tracks are going to be on. So we definitely did that.
You mentioned Jenny. So Jenny, you were training all of these incredible women to get them in the best shape that they could possibly be in. What was that like?
It was the most incredible and challenging job of my entire life. I was an Amazon in the first movie, and then Patty brought me back to be the trainer for this movie. And I had Amazons from all different walks of life, from dancers that had never weight trained to Olympians to some of the best stunt women in the world and the best ninja warrior. And I had to create a training program that would bring everybody together in terms of the aesthetic. So they would have long, lean limbs. They would look athletic yet feminine. So when they went into the Amazon Games, that was like the key competition phase. So we worked in 4-week training blocks ready to peak for filming. And the first week of training I called Hell Week. It was literally like 5 of the most difficult workouts I've ever given anybody. And just before we started filming, I repeated the Hell Week so everyone could feel how far they had come and how much they had improved in terms of their strength, their conditioning, their flexibility, and just the way that they approached workouts as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to ask you to show us the most incredibly hard workout of all times, but was there any move that you did really to get everybody to the place where they could unleash their inner Amazon, or like a move we could each do at home if we want to, since I know everyone's like quarantined somewhere right now?
So with everyone at home, I've come up with the Amazon Power Squat, which really is a all-over body move, and it's incredibly empowering, and anybody can do it anywhere. All you need is a chair. You may recognize the power pose from Wonder Woman, and we're driving up into a squat. So it's using your upper body, your lower body, and your core, and it's an awesome exercise to bring out your inner warrior.
I want to move over to you, Rob, the stunt coordinator for this film. Obviously, Jenny got them all ready with all of the training, but it was your job to kind of put all that stuff together and choreograph the scenes. What did you really want to achieve for this movie with stunts? And like, did you and Patty kind of sit and talk and say, this is the vibe we want? Because I mean, even Jenny talking about how the women should look, where it's strong and long and lean. Was there a conversation like that with you guys about the stunt sequences?
The beauty of actually working with all these girls is that they were all a talent. We'd got the best athletes, the best stunt people. If I couldn't coordinate a great piece of action around these girls, then I was going to be in trouble, truthfully. But there was a great process of when we were training, and like I said, sometimes they were sort of tired and the other one would bring the other one forwards, or the other one was struggling with something and they'd all be jumping in and helping them. So it was a super team effort.
You have to put on the Amazon garb to really feel like an Amazon. So let's welcome Lindy to the Zoom, costume designer. How you doing, Lindy?
Okay, thank you.
Obviously, hearing all the stuff that these women were going to have to do, what was that like for you? What was the process of coming up with the look for the women in this film, especially for the competition stuff, knowing that they would have to be incredibly physical in them?
Well, especially talking about the competition stuff together with Patty, discussing, what it would be like. And I suppose looking into sportswear and into triathlete suits, and then reapplying that to the world of the Amazons and thinking, how would they adapt it to make something which was so specific and special for the Amazon Games? We had a fantastic technical team of people who, together with us, invented or produced fabulous fabric which looked like leather but wasn't, looked like metallized leather but wasn't really. So it was like really a superhero suit, which they use in other superhero films, except it was our Amazon superheroes, Amazon ladies' suits.
Jade, what was it like actually competing in those costumes?
Putting it on, I think all the girls would say it was like, okay, now we're really the Amazons, all the training, everything then really came together. And I think it was Bryony we saw for the first time do the whole kind of the hair, the makeup, the everything, and we were all like, whoa, this is absolutely amazing. And then we were all so excited to like get in there, get our hair done and everything like that. The team that worked on these suits were amazing. I was like in awe of everything they were doing because I was like, how is this? And I love to learn these type of things. So they did an amazing job.
So Lily, what was it like for you putting on the costume for the first time?
I looked at it and it was half done. And, they still had a few things, and I had my first costume fitting, and I saw it, and I was like, this is going to be painful to get into. And then I got into it, and I was like, you know what, it's kind of comfy. I thought it would be, a little bit uncomfier, and it was so cool.
Did you feel really fierce once you had it on, that you were like, I'm going to compete with these women?
Yeah, I just felt like, obviously, the Amazon Games, I felt like I was ready for action, and I was ready for anything that came at me.
I'm going to bring in Aileen, who's the production designer on this project. What was your favorite part of kind of creating and designing the challenge space for this film?
We wanted, Patty and I, not in the other structure. We want to have something quite elegant. We both, of course, first looked at the classical reference, the Greek athletic game, but also we had a look on really contemporary extreme sport like parkour and things like that, which were really interesting. And also the circus art, which makes power, strength, and also poetry and grace. So that was something we look for.
Patty, what is it like being reunited with everybody and hearing everyone talk about their experience?
It's so great, and it, like, from what Dana was saying in the beginning, it's brought almost tears to my eyes from the very beginning, because here's what I want to stress about everybody here, and it's been amazing even listening to everyone talk. This was so complex. You're creating a people, a culture, a civilization, a way of life, a way of dressing, a way of doing athletics. We're bringing to life something that needs to imply a complex history of hundreds and hundreds of years, right? We're filling that in, and all of us worked on different parts of that. Aline and I talked about that from the very beginning of creating Themyscira. It can't look new. We need all the history that Western civilization has. And Lindy and I did all the different layers of like talking about her. She brought so much history to who these people are, so much so that everybody's not walking around wearing the same thing. And then Rob spent so much time building these different moves that are not moves we've ever done before. It's not just go by the playbook of something. And all of the competitors, just brought their best selves to do something so incredible. And, Jenny going from being an Amazon to tapering, how do you train for being an Amazon, having been one herself? I am so proud of every single one of you, so impressed with the work that each of you did, and so happy to be a part of getting to bring these incredible characters who I hope we see a lot more of. It was really, really a fun thing to do together.
Well, another fun thing to do together is the Amazon cry. I would be amiss if I didn't get everyone to do it on this Zoom. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
On the count of 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, that I did not see coming.
Oh my God. So proud that we got that moment on here, you guys. Thank you all so much for joining us, for chatting today, for sharing your experience of becoming an Amazon. I cannot wait until everybody in the world gets to see this movie and share in the experience. Thank you guys all so much. Thank you, Patty, for joining us. And again, all the Amazons, everybody, this was so awesome.
And thank you, little Diana, for being here. Wait till everybody sees little Diana in this film. So exciting.
Bye,
Guys.
everybody.
Here's a question by Luke Anthony about the tone of the movie. My Flash is not going to be light or dark in tone. It's going to have everything. If you saw my previous movies like It and It Too, you'll notice that I like to put everything in it. So what you will see in Flash is a very, deep, emotional story, but it's also going to be very funny, and hopefully, and a great epic adventure at the same time, and also terrifying for sometimes. So that's my answer. Get ready.
Dylan Hernandez in the United States asks, how's the new Flash suit looking? And my honest answer, Dylan, is that I have yet to see it. But I've heard some things about it, and they're extremely exciting. There will be some twists. In some ways, I believe it will be a more traditional comic-based costume, but in other ways, I think that it might be somewhat unconventional. I've heard that it'll potentially be lighter weight than my last suit, as an example of some of the changes. Not sure how much I can say.
I see.
So your question to me, Leticia, which is the most challenging scene to film? I would have to say pretty much all the underwater scenes were very, very difficult to film. From a physical standpoint, from a directing the actors standpoint, because you're constantly having to, direct the actors, explain to them the world that they're in, because the world that they're in actually hasn't been built yet. Because it's such a virtual environment that we shoot in against these blue screens and, hanging these actors on these rigs to make it look like they're swimming through this world. Definitely those underwater sequences were the most difficult in the sense that, that they were very unconventional. It's not something that I've done before, or it's not something that I've really seen been done before, at least not to this extent. And the fact that even just a simple sequence of two actors talking was very hard to pull off. You have these actors in these crazy costumes, in these grueling rigs that the actors have to sort of ride in to make it look like they're just floating through the underwater space. And then, and then lighting as well. So there were a lot of technical challenges towards making these scenes feel like they were underwater, and then and then once we've shot it, the next stage, which is then using computer graphics to come in to then create the environment around the actors, make the actors' hair float like they're underwater, make their beard shimmer like it's underwater, and make their cape float as well. And so a lot of filmmaking process and technique went into creating these scenes. And again, like I said, no scenes were simple, not even dialogue scenes.
If you live stream, so
Hello, everyone. I love the Aquaman movie so much, and it's one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. Thank you, Andrew. Making the movie was obviously a huge challenge because of the historic underwater element of the movie. That is true. It took a lot of time and energy from everyone involved. Also true. My question is, how did it feel seeing fans flock to support a movie? It made over $1 billion worldwide, which is a huge accomplishment. And what was it like seeing the movie smash all expectations and become one of the highest grossing? It was a huge treat. It was to see all the work that is put in, and I don't just mean from actors and director and writers and studio. For me, it comes down to the amount of people that it takes to make a movie, and a movie of this scale, right? Even not even counting post-production, which is huge and enormous. But I remember being on that set, the underwater ship set, right, where Volko and meets with Mera and Aquaman, and where they sets up the plan. That for me, seeing that set, that underwater galleon, the sunken galleon, and to see the amount of work and the carpenters and the painters and all the artists that go to such amazing detail, even for a scene that can be quick. That's when the reward to me is becomes so beautiful, so important, because I see the amount of work that every single department has done, from one guy just there with a little paintbrush that maybe no one will ever see, but we feel it. We know it on set because the attention to detail. And that was just one department. When every department does that, and then the movie makes a lot of money and is supported worldwide by a huge variety of people, right? Not just comic book fans. That's a huge treat and accomplishment. So that's why we're coming back for more.
So, Raul, obviously, a lot of time and effort was spent in the visual effects department. We knew that, at least 80% of this movie would have some kind of visual effects involved to some degree, whether it's stuff that is fully CGI underwater, or just simple things, shooting an actor in a set, but then looking out the window is a different location. We shot this film in Australia, but obviously the movie takes place all around the world, and so we had to be very smart about how we create and to give the illusion that this movie is taking place in all these incredible, fantastical locations. And obviously one of these locations is Atlantis. And going into this, I knew that I had to create something that was really magical, something that we haven't seen before. And I knew that I would have my work cut out for me with Atlantis. And so we spent a lot of time early on designing the world, and working with incredible concept artists to kind of create a magical world that we haven't quite seen before, and ultimately create a world that you believe, and that when you journey with Arthur into the world of Atlantis, you would be in as much awe as he is when he first arrived, at the gates of Atlantis. And it was something that we worked all the way through, from the start of pre-production to the end of post-production. So you design the film early on, conceptually, and then over the course of the production of the movie, you keep sharpening it. You design it now in a CG environment, and you just keep shaping it all the way up until they say, put your pens down. We have to, we have to now deliver the film to the theaters. And so, every step of the way, we keep trying to make our shots look as good, as real as possible.
Tisha, in Brazil, which scene was the most challenging one to film? Most challenging scene. For me, probably a lot of the scenes that were flying around the room in different harnesses and fighting. Overall, I think if you think about the concept of the whole gladiator, we call it the gladiator scenes, fighting underwater in the Colosseum on top of the shield. And I would say the most difficult, just because it was the most time consuming, when we kept having to come back to it, and it was a lot of fighting. So I think just time consuming was probably that most taxing on your body, because you just felt like you couldn't. I think it was never ending. I feel like we're still going back to do reshoots on the gladiator sequence, but we're not. So I would say, the gladiator fight was probably my most difficult.
The fastest man alive. I am the Flash.
Welcome to DC Fandom. I'm Chancellor Agard from Entertainment Weekly, and this is the Flash panel. Joining me today, we have Grant Gustin, who plays the Scarlet Speedster himself, the Flash, aka Barry Allen. Candace Patton, who plays reporter extraordinaire Iris West Allen. Daniel Tannebaker, who pulls double duty as both Caitlin Snow and Frost. Carlos Valdez, who plays the ever-quotable mechanical engineer Cisco Ramon. Daniel Nicolay, who plays meta attorney Cecile Horton. Brandon McKnight, who plays enthusiastic scientist Chester P. Runk. And Kayla Compton, who plays Central City citizen intern Allegra Garcia. Also, we have showrunner and executive producer Eric Wallace. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Before we talk about season 7, I do want to go back through season 6, which I think was a really unique year for the show. Because Eric, you came into the season, you decided to split the season into 2 parts. Looking back on it now, how successful do you feel that was? How effective was that?
I thought it was really successful. It gave a new energy, I think, to the season. In the first half with Bloodwork, we were able to really drill down on Barry's story and on dealing with crisis. Vice versa, in the back half, we're able to really drill into Iris's character and Team Citizen and Eva's story. And then we'll see at the top of season 7 how it all comes together as well.
And for the cast, especially the ones who've been here since season 1, in the moment, could you feel something different about the show and how it was structured?
I loved it. I was a big fan of it. I'm really glad that we got to, it gives the opportunity to really flesh out those villains a little bit more and not spread them out so much that you feel like you're sort of filling in episodes to get to the end.
Yeah, I think a show needs to change in order to grow.
Yeah, I think as an actor too, it prevents fatigue throughout the season. 22 episodes is a long time, 9 months. And I think for us having this kind of break in the season where a new sort of storyline emerges kind of puts us in a headspace of, feeling reinvigorated with the work. So yeah, it makes the season a bit easier to swallow altogether.
As Eric mentioned, the first half of the season was very much about sort of Barry's walk up to crisis and him dealing with his mortality.
I don't know how you're doing this. Real or not, I'm coming for you.
And yet, I'm not your foremost concern, am I? Not as much as your inevitable demise in a coming crisis? Goodness, you really are full of surprises, aren't you? So tell me, when you saw all those permutations, billions of possible futures, all ending in your death, what role did I play?
Grant, for you, what was it like sort of dig into Barry in that way in the first half of the season, especially with episodes like The Last Temptation to Barry Allen?
That episode in particular, I've said it a few times since we finished it, but that was a really special episode to me. And I think it really was a good episode to show just kind of the culmination of all of his emotions and the conflict kind of boiling over. I just felt really lucky with all the material they gave me in The Last Temptation of Barry Allen, especially in part one. It was different than anything I think we've done and anything I've done on the show, and I had a great time with it.
Did you find that episode particularly challenging?
Oh yeah, and it was a special episode, but it was definitely super challenging. But visually, I thought they did a great job. Everyone was really proud of it. It was tough, but it was fun.
And on the flip side, we dug a lot more into Iris as a journalist. For you, Candace, what was it like to sort of explore that side of Iris in more detail?
It was a long time coming. I think we've kind of teased Iris being this ace reporter since season 1. It's always kind of been put on the back burner, so it was a nice treat to finally have it be at the forefront of her character arc for the season. It's such a male-dominated cast. I love these guys, but having more women and having this kind of Charlie's Angels sort of, you know, reporter team, it was really cool. It brought a new energy to the show, and I hope we carry on with that in the next season.
I do want to dig more into that because a couple fans had some Team Citizen questions that we'll get to towards the end. In this season, I guess, did you feel like you discovered something new about Iris through this material?
She has this conversation with Barry as Mirror Iris, but I think it's very indicative of how real Iris truly feels, which is that, you know, she can't always be, you know, the victim, and she's not always looking to be saved, and that she has to go out there and kind of have her own agency and do her own thing. And I think it was, you know, words that came through Mirror Iris, but it's very true of real Iris needing to have her own agency and her own life and her own mission. And so that to me was kind of the spark of Iris kind of taking over her own life and, you know, still loving Barry and still wanting this deep, meaningful relationship, but kind of separating in a way and saying, I have to do my own thing. I have to chase after villains. I have to chase after stories, no matter how dangerous it is. You put your life on the line to protect your city. And so I feel like I should have the right to do that as well, with superpowers or without. I was following up on a lead. So, there.
And you were following a lead in the middle of the night? I mean, something could have happened to you.
That, Barry, that right there, that's why I didn't tell you. I don't need you to save me. I can handle myself.
How did you sort of make sense or separate in your mind Iris and Mirror Iris when you were playing them?
Iris and Mirror Iris, we wanted it to feel like we didn't know who was who. We wanted the audience to believe that Iris and Mirror Iris were almost identical. And as this season kind of progressed, we see these kind of chipping away of Mirror Iris becoming more and more sinister and evil and kind of being taken over more and more from Eva. So a lot of it came in the script of just letting the scripts progress and letting Mirror Iris become more and more sinister.
That's episode 611, Love is a Battlefield, in
There it
which
goes.
Oh, yeah.
Iris gets to break a bottle over a dude's head. How awesome was that?
Fun, yes.
It was super fun.
I mean, that really culminated in the Barry versus Mirror Iris fight, which is something we've never seen those two characters do, or in a situation like that with each other. When you guys first joined the show, did you guys ever think that you'd get to do something, do like a fight scene like that together?
Oh.
I just assumed I'd always play this kind of, you know, straight edge reporter. And so for me to ever get powers and then to have a dual personality and get to fight, I mean, it's all dream comes true kind of stuff. You know, for 6 years, I think any actor is always looking for variety in.
And on the subject of new things, I mean, this season we got 2 new characters with Chester and Kayla, and we have 2 now series regulars coming into season 7. How was your experience sort of coming into a show that's sort of 6 seasons in and sort of finding your way through it?
I was intimidated for sure. I knew these guys were a family and I was nervous. I think it was Danny was one of the first people that made me feel so welcome. We were shooting a scene and it was really hot, and she just took me under her wing instantly. And I remember she was like, "Do you want to take a picture?" And I was like, "Do I want to take a picture with you?" Yes. And then I got the courage to like ask other people to take pictures because she had like made me feel so welcome instantly. So that transition was really lovely for me.
I was a big fan. I am a big fan of the show, and I watched the show. The Flash is my little sister's favorite superhero, so we watched the show since season 1. So I came in already like understanding what the show was about, like what the show's tone was, stuff like that. For me, it was more so just meeting everybody and getting into the same vibe that everybody has, because everybody had 5-6 years to really learn about each other and learn how everybody works together. And I was just trying to find my spot and my place without interrupting or changing too much.
And Brandon, I know in the past, Eric has talked about sort of how with Chester, he views sort of Chester, it's sort of like him, is sort of enthusiasm about science and all that. I'm curious, one, what conversations did you have with Eric about sort of crafting this performance as Chester? And 2, did you base any of it on Eric himself?
I remember the first day on set, I met Eric, and it's funny, the first episode 601, the first maybe 3 or 4 days, I was pretty much just in a coma the entire time. So I was just laying on a bench or sitting at a table and stuff like that. And I remember him telling me, because I had the monologue coming up when I'm in my garage and I'm doing the stream. And I remember him just telling me, this guy's brain works faster than his mouth. He can't speak as quickly as he thinks. So every time he has a thought, he's going to another place, and then he has another thought, and he's excited about all the thoughts that he's having. So those are like that. I remember that specifically because I remember going into it being like, I don't know how much energy this guy's supposed to have. He's written with a lot of energy. He's written to be really zany and really crazy and really fun, but I don't know how big I'm allowed to go and blah, 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 blah. So Eric really showed me that, you can go as big as you want to go. If it's too much, they'll take it down, that sort of thing.
I'll never forget the first time I saw Brandon work. Danielle was directing, so I came by set to see how it was going. And they were shooting the montage of like, you had just woken up and you were like, exploring Star Labs and checking all the equipment. Yeah. And I don't think I'd even met you yet. I was looking at you on the monitor.
Yeah, that was the first day we met,
Yeah, I mean, I think I came in and said something to you because I said to Danielle, like, this dude is incredible. Like, you were doing things that, I wish I could get to do on the show, and I certainly wouldn't be able to do them the way that you can do them. So I was super impressed.
It was so fun. I mean, I remember that scene too, that sequence. I had such a good time, and I feel like we shot a lot more than ultimately ended up in the episode. But we were just having such a good time with it. But I also remember in 601, we saw your monologue. I think it was certainly before I'd had any scenes with you. And I feel like we watched your monologue and we all looked at each other and we're like, oh, he's great. Like, so you really came into the show with a lot of love.
Hey, what up, party people? Welcome to a world where all are welcome and anything, including the scientifically impossible, can and probably will happen. I'm your boy, Chicka Chester, with knowledge from the bleeding edge of physics and beyond.
Kayla, with Allegra, I'm curious, coming into the show, I mean, how did you sort of connect with your character and in what ways did you relate to her?
The way I look at Allegra is that she just wants to fit in and belong somewhere. And I just super resonate with that. Family is really important to me. My friendships are really important to me. And belonging to something or having a community is just really important to me. So that was one of the first things that I connected with Allegra. She just wants a family and she wants to belong, and she hasn't had that previously. And so I just super resonate with her on that level.
For you, I guess
you're in the Flash family now.
Yeah. Thanks.
I mean, with the character, did you feel like you sort of really clicked in with her immediately, sort of on day one, or was there sort of a process for you to sort of figure your way through that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I learned more about her with every episode. I also, my first episode, I didn't know if there was going to be more episodes for me. And so that was all I had. And so I just really gave that my everything. And in that first episode, you learn a little bit about her history and a criminal background. And so like that, I didn't necessarily immediately get on with, but as I've, done more episodes, I've learned a lot more about her and loved her more and connected with her more.
Danielle, I mean, we just talked about your directorial debut, and I was curious. I feel like you've spoken a lot about how sort of acting has informed you as a director. I'm curious, after directing 2 episodes of the show, how has that sort of informed how you approach your role as an actor on the show, both as Caitlin and Frost?
I feel like part of the reason I love directing so much is because I've always tried to, be on set with my eyes wide open and look at all the different departments and learn as much as I can. So I definitely feel like it's informed. You're right. I do feel like the directing's informed my acting, but hopefully my acting informed my directing too. All, those years of experience and spending time on set. I love it. I'm excited to get back to work too.
And this season 6, was all about sort of Frost finding herself or finding a way to craft a life for herself. For you, what was it like to explore that journey with this character in season 6?
It was great. It was really fun to get to explore Killer Frost as a real character and a person and a human being with feelings and emotions, and not just necessarily this person who, pops up for a fight and then disappears and we don't really know her perspective on things. So it was really fun to get to dig in and flesh that out and have a little bit of fun with it. Like Candace was saying earlier, it's nice to have the variety after, 6 seasons and we're rapidly approaching 150 episodes.
For you, what do you think is sort of the next step for Frost in her sort of development?
I'm excited because it sounds like Killer Frost is going to go on a date soon, and I'm really excited to see that.
That might happen.
Do we think she has the best table manners? Probably not.
And Danny, again on the subject of change, this season for Cecile, she sort of decides to become a meta attorney for metahumans. For you, what has it been like to see this character evolve from when she was initially introduced to where she is now?
She went from being a regular person to having powers, but then those powers evolving, and they continue to evolve every season. So it's fun for me because every time I get to explore where it's going. And since I joined the show a couple seasons after it started, I always sort of felt like coming into it, my job was to figure out how I can be whatever puzzle piece is missing. Everyone else on the show's already so amazing, and their characters are so well fleshed out that I'm always trying to figure out where Cecile fits and where she can support the team and where she can support the show in its entirety. So it's a blast for me because I got to be a regular person, then I got to be a telepath, and then I got to be an empath, and then now I am a meta defense attorney. And then from what I understand, there's going to be some shifts next season too.
In shooting those scenes where her empath powers sort of come into play, how do you sort of go through that as the actor? Do you sort of imagine the sound we eventually hear on TV, or how do you?
It was a little hard to kind of wrap my head around in the beginning. I think it's hard for anyone to play powers, whether they're coming out of their hands or they're inside or somewhere in the middle. I think just as an actor, you have to go back to basics and believe where you're at and completely invest in your character's reality. And that's her reality. And so I try to really just believe what's on the page and what's written for me and play it exactly that way.
Is there something that you're hoping to do that you haven't gotten a chance to do on the show yet?
I have always, this is not news to anybody, Eric will not be surprised, I have wanted Cecile to be bad, just a little bit bad, forever, so just a little bit, because she's so good. I would have a lot of fun playing like bad Cecile. I've offered many times to switch powers with Killer Frost just for an episode, but unfortunately, Eric does not believe me to be as good of a writer as I am an actor. So he continues to not buy my pitches.
But I listen. I am listening. Listening. I feel you. You never know. You never know.
And Carlos, I mean, this season 5 ended with him giving up his powers, and this season was very much about him figuring out what his role on the team was without those powers. After 5 seasons of Cisco's vibe, what was it like for you to explore this new, this Cisco in a new place like this?
I don't think he regrets that decision, but I think it definitely haunts him. I'm actually feeling a lot like Cisco these days because, like, you know, I'll have a fan that I'll like see on the street or whatever. They'll be like, "Yo, but vibe though, come on." And I have to imagine Cisco's probably feeling very similarly. Like, I know, okay, but you know, it was such a big decision for him that I feel like the ripple effect, you know, the repercussions for that in terms of, you know, Cisco's sense of identity, you know, we're still seeing those waves, and we'll continue to see those waves into season 7. So I'm just, you know, riding the wave.
The beginning of season 6 actually had an episode called Kiss Kiss Breach Breach, which is Cisco-centric, and included on the DVD set coming out in August is a black and white version of that episode, and we have a clip from that episode. So let's check it out.
You murdered my daughter! No, I didn't do it! I swear! Liar!
You have to believe me! Leave him alone!
Where did you get that?
In Cisco's workshop. I don't know how it got there.
I do. He just murdered my daughter with it.
No, Preacher, I don't care what you think you saw, okay? You know Cisco. You know how much he cared about Gypsy. There's got to be another explanation.
Babe, please.
No, what about doppelgangers?
She's right. There's thousands of other versions of me out there. Yeah, and they're all pencil pushers. None of them are scientists like you. You had motive, just enough guts to do this. Preacher, I swear, I don't know how this is possible. Unless it breeds psychosis. Camilla, what time did you find me sleepwalking the other night?
I don't know. Maybe 4 a.m.?
Oh! You're guilty! But you're not in your right mind. I didn't just lose a daughter today. I lost a son. Because I still respect the man you were. Now, I'm gonna give you an hour to get all your affairs in order, and then turn yourself in, or I will end you.
Wow, right?
Pretty cool,
That was so exciting.
Very cool.
Eric, what was it? What went into release a black and white version of this episode?
Well, it's a film noir story, and I always wanted it to be black and white. What was really great in making the episode with the director Manoj Huda, he had an idea, because he knew I wanted it to be in black and white. He said, well, why don't we do the vibes in black and white? And it's something that Carlos had always talked about, is how you could do vibes differently and how unique that could be as a directorial challenge. And Carlos was saying how even way back in season 1, that was something they needed to figure out. Well, when Manoj did that, we cut it into the episode. It dawned on me, oh, we can have a special edition of this that achieves this vision of an entire film noir story, all in black and white. Danny Trejo in black and white. How awesome is that?
Carlos, for you, I mean, that again, the episode was so Cisco-centric about him dealing with Gypsy's death. What was it like leading the A-plot?
So gratifying to my budding narcissism. You know, getting to work with Danny is always like such a pleasure. And also getting to like really sort of navigate the relationship with Camilla too. I felt like at that point, like, you know, the relationship was progressing and it needed to like, you know, reach a major crucible or something. And I think that episode definitely did that. And it was a perfect way to like sort of demonstrate how these two are compatible. So yeah, it was very gratifying.
And the last time we saw Cisco in the season, he was heading off to Atlantis. I'm curious, in your mind, have you sort of thought about what Cisco does, what someone does in Atlantis when they visit?
I just chatted up with the dolphins and stuff. Definitely, probably some Aquaman action in there somewhere. I hope Cisco comes back from Atlantis soon, because Atlantis does not pay as well.
And on that note, we also have a sizzle reel for what's to come in season 7. When we last left off season 6, Eva McCulloch had gotten what she wanted, and she framed Sue. And the sizzle will sort of tease what's to come when the show returns. So let's check out that clip.
I've achieved my goal. This company is all mine. You lost your speed? You're not much of a threat, are you? You just stay out of my way, Flash.
Iris is my wife. I have to save her.
What are you? I am a product of your broken mind.
How much speed do you have left?
Enough for a few hours. I need your help to build an artificial speed force. That's how I can get my speed back.
I was an empath too, only I never held back. What did you do to me? Imagine what you'd become if you weren't so afraid. This time, no one is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your husband. There's only 2 options in this place. Survival or madness. Cannot be all, cannot be all. You lied.
Yeah, I lied. Oh, frack.
There's a supersonic jet about to crash over the city.
And the Flash isn't fast enough to stop it.
Eva can move anywhere, through any mirror in the universe, in the blink of an eye. She's faster than I am, and somehow I'm supposed to stop her?
I have unfinished business and a whole world to liberate.
We need a plan. We've all lost so much this year. Some things can't be taken. We still have our will to fight for those we love.
Keep watching. Keep trying to break me, because I'm not afraid of the woman that I am today. But you are, Eva.
Team Flash needs as many hands on deck as possible. Well, now, Flash.
We go save Iris and our friends.
Get everybody back.
Eric, can you talk about what we're seeing there?
When we had the shutdown happen, as unfortunate as it was, we were on the last day of filming for what would have been the 20th episode of last season, which now will become partially the first episode of season 7. So we did have 85% of the footage that we were able to use. Plus, also, we knew where we were going already in season 7. So even though it's only footage really from one episode, pay attention to the way it's presented. It's actually huge spoilers all over the place.
And that sizzle had a lot of Iris in it, a lot of Iris in the Mirrorverse. Candace, I mean, can you sort of, in your mind, I guess, how do you think her time in the Mirrorverse has sort of affected her?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see when she comes out, and I believe she will come out very soon when we pick up season 7. It'll be very interesting to see how she's been affected by being kind of stuck in this maddening world with this super villain. Obviously, Team Flash and Barry were working to get her. It took a while. I don't know if there's some resentment there or what's going on, or if there's even some like residual mental effect of being in that mirror world and seeing things backwards and how that affects her. I have no idea. That's kind of up to Eric.
And Danny, the sizzle also showed that there's more to come in the way of Cecile's powers. What can you share about that?
I think that it's fair to say Cecile's powers up until this point have been passive. And I think going forward, we're going to see them evolving into something that's more active. We're going to find Cecile exploring that and maybe struggling with it a little bit and finding her way with it. And possibly getting herself into some trouble in the meantime.
Definitely.
Chester becomes even more integral to Team Flash as sort of Team Flash sort of coming back together. What can you say about Chester's sort of the role that Chester will sort of fill on Team Flash?
What Chester's real superpower is his optimism.
Nash currently has sort of all of the Welleses from the old multiverse in his mind. I guess in season 7, how will the way in which Wells is used change for the show?
Radically, but super fun. and you're not going to see it coming. I love the Allegra and Nashville's relationship so much. It was one of the joys when the dailies would come back and I would see these two wonderful actors kind of getting to know each other from early on, and then Exorcism of Nash Wells, learning why they kind of have this relationship. So there'll be more of that.
Preview showed it sort of Barry is sort of working as hard as he can to get his powers back, get his speed back. I mean, for you, do you think Barry has enjoyed any part of not having his speed at this point, or do you think he really does really misses it, I guess?
Yeah, no, I think he really just misses it. I don't think, especially with Iris being trapped in the Mirrorverse at the moment, and then Eva being a factor, I don't think any part of him has been like, well, I guess I'll just enjoy this downtime while I can. I think he genuinely not just wants his powers back, but he feels that he needs them back. And he's also started to feel that they define him, and what is he without them? Yeah, I mean, it's taking a toll on him, just mentally.
Big bads for season 7. Eric, what can you tease about who these new, or who, I guess, at least the first one, who they will be, and what and how they will sort of challenge Team Flash in a new way?
Wow, I don't like spoilers. Let's just say there was a certain speedster who wore a white costume whose clones kept showing up. And it really, Team Flash had to deal with that, but we never caught the real guy or girl, right? Who knows? Let's just say we might find out that mystery this season.
Spoilers, I mean, without spoiling, it's for you, what makes Godspeed an interesting villain for you? Just on, I guess, without getting into sort of what the show's going to do with it, but it's like coming to the season, what was it about Godspeed? You're like, oh, there's something there for that.
Two things. One, the current run of the comics that Joshua is writing is terrific. And I want to make sure that new fans, especially new young fans who are reading the comic book right now, are welcomed to the show. So it's not just Silver Age villains and Bronze Age villains. There might be a young girl or a young boy who is reading those Flash comics right now and going, where's my villain, my generation's villain?
Who is this guy anyway?
An old family friend. His name's Godspeed, and he's from the future.
I want that same experience for a young person now to go, well, my villain is Godspeed. He's only 8 years, he's only been around for 5 or 8 years or so. So bringing him in is very important to me to expand the audience. That's number one. 2, Godspeed, unlike, say, Reverse Flash, has no emotional connection, supposedly, right, to the Flash. So the question is, why is Godspeed angry at the Flash? We got to keep the show fresh. We've got more to say.
I mean, in light of everything that's happened recently, we have 2 characters on the show, Barry and Joe, who work for the police department. And have you sort of thought about how you're going to approach their jobs in this coming season, and maybe change or maybe not?
The world right now is on fire. We have to look at what's around us. It definitely informs specifically Joe's story this season, but in a good way and in a positive way, because we need to be socially responsible as artists. Yes, I love comic books and the Flash, but I'm a person first. We have to be people first and work together to make the world a better place. I believe that. That's where those changes are coming from. So yeah, you'll notice some changes, definitely.
And with that, let's move on to some fan questions.
Hi, I'm Sammy, and this is my question. How is Nash Wells going to adjust with all of the new Harrisons in his mind?
What's it like having a million Wells in your head? You're going to find out real fast.
For Grant, which from all over the world wanted to know this, when will we get to see the Flash in the iconic gold boots?
Well, this might be a question for me, but really it's for Eric, because I don't know if this is saying too much, but if it were up to me, it would have been like 2 seasons ago. So I think Eric's going to have to answer this one.
Yeah, well, Grant and I have talked extensively about this. For the record, I love gold boots too, right? I just think they must be earned, right? So it's like, when's the right time to unleash them? I think a story is the best way to unleash them. So I'm determined to get you your gold boots, Grant. I promise. I just can't say when, but it will happen. I promise.
Christmas is always a good time to give gifts.
And from South Africa, this is a two-part question. First, as the leader of Team Citizen, how will we see Team Citizen evolve once the show returns?
I don't know. That's more of a question for Eric.
Yes, you'll see much more of Team Citizen investigating a very specific thing that I can't talk about right now because I feel terrible, but it's true. It's true. But they've got a lot of fallout because the leader of Team Citizen is in the Mirrorverse. So what's been going on with Team Citizen while she's been gone? I think they need to start there.
And the second part of that question, can we expect to see more of the mentorship relationship between Iris and Allegra in more of the Team Citizen office?
I hope so. I would expect so. I think if we're going to be spending a lot of work time together, I think it's only natural for two women to have an evolving relationship. And I think we've already kind of seen that grow in season 6. And I hope there's more of that in season 7. I think it's a great opportunity for a really beautiful female relationship and friendship.
What could need our attention more than this? Your cousin was a victim, Allegra, and now some secret organization is using her. I mean, how many others are they using?
We need to help them. Right. I mean, no one wants to find out what happened to Esperanza more than me, but is this really what matters the most to you right now?
Yeah. Now, come on, get your stuff. Camilla is going to see if she can recover any other photos. You and I have a stakeout date.
You're the boss.
Yeah, I echo that. I echo that. I'm really looking forward to that. And I think it's got to happen, right? Especially as we've expanded Candace's story, Iris's story. I think this is the first time Iris has ever had someone come under her, right? So this is a really good opportunity for lots of new fun stuff.
Last season, we got to see some romantic moments between Barry and Iris, even though it was Mirror Iris. Will we get to see more of that with the real Iris this season? And this question comes from Jamaica.
Iris will be getting out of the Mirrorverse shortly after we return with season 7. So regardless of what exactly that's going to entail, we're going to see them together a lot more next year than we did last year.
They will find their way back to each other eventually. A lot of the romance and the chemistry between Grant and I has always been something even deeper than that. It's the way we look at each other and the way the characters are written.
And Grant, this one's for you. We have some amazing Flash fan art and cosplay to show you.
Okay, guys, right now I'm looking at a cosplay fan art of Vladimir Morisot. I hope I'm saying that right. He's from California, and this thing is epic. Honestly, he's got a better superhero pose than I think I've ever had for a Flash photo shoot, so I could learn a thing or two from Vladimir, I think. All right, I love this one by Shannon Beltran from the UK. It's me and my bud Wally, Keenan Lonsdale. I love this moment when we were reunited and we did our fist bump. I think it was scripted as a fist bump, which we were happy to do, but then we were like, I'm hugging Keenan. This is awesome. Good job, Shannon. Hamlet Roman from Colombia. Awesome image of Barry, myself as Barry, running up a building, and the season 2 suit, I believe, season 2, season 3. This thing is really cool. God, you guys are talented.
Well, that'll do it for us today. Thank you all for joining me for this panel. I had a really good time. For everyone watching, please make sure you tune into The Flash when it returns in 2021. And again, remember that The Flash, the complete 6th season, is available now on digital and comes out on Blu-ray and DVD on August 25th.
Hey Shane, thank you so much for this question. We had
so much fun shooting this movie, and we had an extremely good time exploring and establishing the movie in the 80s. There's something so magical about this decade in terms of fashion and music and even language and the way that people used to talk, the slang. And it was a great opportunity to go through the creative process with, you know, designing the different costumes and basically the universe of this stories taking place in the 80s. And I really, truly hope that you're going to enjoy it once you watch the movie.
Jacob from Ireland asked, how much of the film was shot with IMAX cameras? I would say probably just under a third. You know, it was a good chunk of very exciting action and some beautiful stuff. Maybe a little less than a third, but wow, was it beautiful. Oh, it was so wonderful, so great to work with. IMAX cameras are incredible. The film that you get is amazing. Projecting it up on an IMAX screen in the end of the day is amazing. So yeah, really can't wait for you guys to see that. Go see it on IMAX.
Hi, Celeste. I did all my own stunts. Every single thing that you see me doing, that was on me. No, I'm just kidding. We had an incredible stunt team, and the girls I worked with were unbelievable and inspiring. I trained to do a lot of the choreography, and, you know, we did a lot of like strength training and all of that stuff, and did some of the stunts, but I had a lot of help, and I enjoyed it. It was amazing.
Hi, Bridget. Thank you for your question. I would say the thing that felt different about being on the set of Wonder Woman 1984 than it did other, I guess, large-scale sets that I've been on was that they used so many practical effects. I never really found myself having to do things with a green screen. There were such specific locations and practical effects that create such a visual experience that they capture on film, and it was bizarre and amazing to physically be at the center of it. You know, I'm talking flashing lights and wind machines and things moving. I don't want to say what, because I don't want to give anything away, but it felt like it was almost like a nostalgic experience in that there was so much that you didn't have to leave to your imagination, because they created it for you to interact with while filming. It was really, really amazing.
Hey, Macy. Wow. This movie was very physically demanding. Patty really wanted to shoot as much action sequences in a practical way as much as possible. So we had to do a lot. I did a lot by myself. I also had an amazing stunt women working with me. And I can't really choose just one moment, because there are different epic, you know, action sequences in the movie that were like amazing. But maybe I can give you one without giving away anything. But we shut down Penn Avenue in Washington, D.C., and I had to run super fast. And you've seen it in the first trailer and also in the second trailer. And we've matched the speed of my running to Usain Bolt. And I had to run in like 24 kilometers per hour or something like that. And it was insane. Obviously, I didn't do it by myself. I was assisted by wires, but it was crazy to do it, and to do it there. It was amazing.
Question from TJ in the United States. As someone who wants to be a director, Patty, what's your favorite part about directing in general and about directing WW84 in general? I'll tell you. I absolutely love to crack a scene. I love to crack a project. So the more complex and interesting it is, the more I like to sit and look at it like a chessboard. Like, that's interesting. How would you move all these pieces to make that great? You know, to make it flow and make it all come together and make very unlikely things all flow together. My favorite thing is on the day, showing up on set with these actors and knowing that these words are on the page and then playing the chess game of trying to bring out something new and exciting and unexpected between each of them. That is like my favorite sport. It's like I feel like I'm in the zone when I get to do it, and you're watching what they do, and then they're doing something different, and then you're trying to, you know, tweak it, or they're tweaking it, or you're talking about how to do it. Watching something go from words on a page to a scene and real emotions and something incredible is my absolutely favorite thing that I'm addicted to and I miss right now, and I can't wait to do again.
Hi, Misha. I love your question because it gives me the opportunity to worship on our creative team of the movie Wonder Woman 1984. Lindy Hemming, who did costumes, and Jan Sewell, who did makeup and hair, collaborated so beautifully with Patty Jenkins and myself to create this, you know, power suit, power hair wearing, you know, 80s salesman. And it was intimidating. I've always sort of never really looked so good in 80s garb, even though I was brought up in the 80s. I've always leaned a little bit more towards a 70s vibe, and somehow they were able to come up with such a specific, brilliant, smarmy, elegant, seductive, repulsive, very, very layered, as many layers of, you know, of suits I'm wearing, or as many layers as there are to the suits that I'm in, is as many layers as to the quality of Maxwell.
Marley, you present me with a good question about what my favorite thing to act or perform in this film was. Firstly, I have to say we were blessed with a great cast, all of which I would only speak for myself, but I think the others would agree. We enjoyed working with one another, and that always helps when you need to create fiction. If there's a little bit of nonfiction happening behind the scenes, it helps your case. I think for myself particularly, it was the joy in Steve Trevor this time around, the kind of unfettered curiosity and passion for discovery, his love for Diana. He's like, I guess the best qualities that we all had when we were kids, discovering the world. It was every day was a constant in motion adventure. So I think that joy for Steve this time around was the most fun.
Welcome to DC Fandom. I'm GameSpot Entertainment Editor Chris E. Hayner, and you are watching the Young Justice panel.
All right, go!
I can only assume you are all as excited as I am to be here today, and we have something very, very exciting in store. We have the cast here performing a brand new audio play from executive producer Greg Weisman, and I don't want to wait. I'm just going to introduce them. Here we have Greg Weisman, executive producer, who is also voicing Lucas Carr.
Hi.
Executive producer Brandon Vietti is also here.
Hello.
Jason Spizak voicing Forager.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Kari Payton playing Calderam. Stephanie Lemelin playing Artemis Croc.
And also the computer.
And also the computer.
Get excited.
Nolan North, Connor Kent.
Cheers.
Denise Boutet playing Raquel Urban.
Hello.
Danica McKellar as Megan Morse.
Hello, Megan.
And Crispin Freeman as Will Harper.
And Roy and Jim, and I think I'm a clone now. So
the Harper clan, the whole gang. So yeah, again, thank everybody for being here for this. This is Young Justice Fandom, Season 3.9, Episode 1, and it is titled The Prize.
Happy Harbor, February 23, 1416 EST.
It was a crisp, clear day, a perfect day for a barbecue among friends, and for a farewell party. Connor and Megan came downstairs from the apartment above my garage, which I'd been renting to them since the day they graduated college and moved in together. Now, in a couple days, they'd be off for the biggest adventure of their lives.
Hi, Lucas.
Hi, Megan. Connor?
Need any help with the food?
Forager and Lucas Carr do not need help with the food from Megan Morse and Connor Kent. Megan Morse and Connor Kent are guests of honor at this event. Megan Morse and Connor Kent will not have to lift finger or pincer to help Forager and Lucas Carr.
I think he means we got you covered.
Forager said as much.
Who's coming, by the way?
Just the Team Year Zero crew.
Yeah, we didn't want the invite list getting out of hand. Limiting it to the original 9, 8, seemed like a nice clean cutoff.
Minus Dick, who's on another of his top secret sabbaticals, and Zatanna, who's training her proteges.
Yes, minus Dick Grayson and Zatanna Zatara, but plus Leon Wen Harper and Amistad Irvin. Forager has been engaged to act as Leon Wen Harper and Amistad Irvin's official babysitter for the day. Though neither Leon Wen Harper nor Amistad Irvin are actual babies. Perhaps larva sitter is the more appropriate term.
Or perhaps not.
Recognized, Tigress B07, Red Arrow 21, Leanne Wen Harper A28. Hey guys, Artemis, Will.
Hello, Leon Wen Harper.
sorry, Forager. Leon's in a bit of a mood. It's like she decided to come to this party without her voice.
Forager wishes Violet Harper were here to help get Leon Wen Harper to speak.
Oh, don't worry, Forager. If anyone can change her mood, you can. You are her favorite larvae sitter.
Oh.
Larvae sitter? Really? Is that a thing now?
Hey, brother.
Hey, Will. Really glad you could make it.
Are you kidding? I should be thanking you. Gave me an excuse to ditch out on an incredibly boring bowhunter security gig.
Ooh, who got stuck with it?
My brothers. Oh, and the new guy.
Will and Connor laughed about sticking their fellow xenomorphs with a dull job. But pretty soon, no one would be laughing.
Because on the other side of the country, forces were gathering.
But wait a minute, who's narrating this story, me or you?
Forager thanks Lucas Carr for Lucas Carr's service, but Forager will take Lucas Carr's story from here. Oh, and Forager will also suggest that Lucas Carr check Lucas Carr's grill. Forager smells smoke.
Wait, what? My burgers!
As Forager was saying, forces were gathering.
Star City, February 23, 11:19 PST.
Roy Harper, Jim Harper, and new guy Harlan Matthews were wearing bowhunter security uniforms and guarding a shipment of Wayne Tech hardware destined for the new Wayne Tech skyscraper in Star City.
See, Jim? I knew when Will stuck us with this gig, it would set new standards for boredom. I honestly think he does this to us on purpose.
Hey, it's his company, Roy.
We each own 25%.
And he owns 50. Get over it.
At least you guys have ownership. Right now, I don't even have enough scratch to own a cat.
Did you want a cat?
So not the point.
What is your point, Harlan? I mean, you have a job, a chance to start over, new city, new life, clean slate.
Oh, sorry, Jim. Are we being serious now? I thought we were just grousing. 'Cause, yeah, actually, I am incredibly grateful.
No, you were right. We were just grousing.
Oh, cool. In that case, hey, this gig sucks, huh?
See? Told ya!
Jim Harper rolled Jim Harper's eyes, unaware that on the roof across the way, the previously mentioned gathering forces had gathered.
Not these guys again. You know them? Bow Hunter Security. They're the most pain-in-the-ass rent-a-cops on the planet.
Ah, get a grip, Brick. You really think those bargain basement mercs are gonna fight for the prize once they see the likes of this crew?
I hate to admit it, but Boomerang's right. This is the easiest gig the Wall's ever handed us.
See? Tuppence here knows what I'm talking about.
That's Miss Terror to you. Now step back. I swear, you're worse than Icicle Jr.
Agreed, Mala. We do not want to get overconfident. As distasteful as it is, we have a job to do, and Black Manta will claim his prize.
Young Justice Fandom, Season 3.9, Episode 1, The Prize.
Meanwhile, back in Happy Harbor,
Recognized Aquaman 2-7.
Calderon had arrived to join the party.
Okay, burgers are a little charred, but still tasty, so I can take over the storytelling.
Lucas Carr can take over the storytelling because Lucas Carr has already prepared vegan alternatives for
Recognized Rocket 2-6, Amistad Irvin A-29.
My veggie burgers!
Forager sees no veggie burgers.
I left them in the fridge. I'll be right back.
Ahem. As Forager was saying, back in Happy Harbor, the party continued.
So when do you guys actually leave?
Tuesday morning. It's a long trip, so we want to get an early start.
And Gar's going with you?
Uh-huh. Uncle John, too. And Bioship, of course.
This long trip has been a long time coming, my friend.
Don't have to tell me.
Please. We all knew this would happen eventually.
I believe most of us knew before Connor did.
And it's not at all like you guys haven't enjoyed reminding me of that fact for the last 10 years.
Oh, we've enjoyed it. Trust me.
I am so happy for you both.
And I'm so happy you're here.
Wouldn't miss it.
But Raquel Irvin, Megan Morse, Artemis Croc, Calderon, Will Harper, and Connor Kent were indeed missing something. Something important in Star City that began with the flight of a simple boomerang that just flew through an open window and thunked into a wall. Punk.
Is that a boomerang? Get down!
The boomerang exploded, knocking Jim Harper, Roy Harper, and Harlan Matthews off Jim Harper, Roy Harper, and Harlan Matthews' feet. Simultaneously, two steel-reinforced doors were smashed in at two ends of the warehouse by Tuppence, Terror, and Brick.
They're trying to steal the Wayne Tech. I thought you said this gig was boring. It was.
Well, not anymore.
Monsieur Mala entered next, firing a Gatling gun.
Boomerangs? Gatling guns? That monkey brought an arsenal.
He's not the only one.
Roy Harper returned fire with Roy Harper's cybernetic arm. Pew, 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 providing cover for Jim Harper to advance.
I've got Brick.
You think so? Try me.
Do I cut loose?
Save it. The gorilla's the only one with a brain. We can handle these three.
But you do not face three alone.
Black Manta blasted Roy Harper. Zap, zap, with Black Manta's eye beams.
Ah!
Boomerang.
Captain Boomerang entered behind Black Manta, throwing three boomerangs that stuck, thunk, 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 in the ground on three sides of Harlan Matthews.
Activate desiccation field.
Way ahead of you, boss.
A bizarre electric field sprung up from the boomerangs around Harlan Matthews.
Harlan!
Before the eyes of the Harper brothers, Captain Boomerang's desiccation field appeared to drain all of the moisture from Harlan Matthews' body.
Cut loose! Cut loose!
Too late.
No!
Harlan Matthews rapidly withered to a dusty husk, finally collapsing like sand between the three boomerangs.
Took your eyes off the prize, rent-a-dork.
Oh, this one's no better.
Distracted by Harlan Matthews' apparent demise, Roy Harper and Jim Harper were quickly dispatched into unconsciousness. Oh.
Guess the party's over. All that's left is the cleanup.
Indeed. Mala?
Hoisting Monsieur Mala's weapon over Monsieur Mala's shoulder, Monsieur Mala engaged a sophisticated vacuum cleaner that quickly sucked up all that remained of Harlan Matthews.
Finished? Then the prize is ours. Let us be off.
What about these two?
Leave them. They are of no consequence now.
And so, Black Manta departed with Captain Boomerang, Tuppence Terror, Brick, Monsieur Mala, and a container filled with Harlan Matthews' remains. Oh, leaving Roy Harper and Jim Harper unconscious on the cement floor. And in Happy Harbor.
My fruit punch!
Yes, Amistad Irvin and Leon Wen Harper wanted to see how much potato salad would be required to overflow Lucas Carr's punch bowl.
My potato salad! Forager, you're supposed to be watching these kids.
Forager did watch Amistad Irvin and Leon Wen Harper. Amistad Irvin and Leon Wen Harper potato salad experiment seemed to be a worthwhile educational endeavor, exploring the displacement of liquids.
We're gonna need more punch, potato salad, and napkins. I'll be right back.
Lucas Carr will be back, and Forager will continue the story. Amistad Irvin approached Will Harper, pointing at Will Harper's abdomen.
You have a baby in there.
Amistad!
No, Amistad. No, baby. I've just put on a little weight.
I am so sorry. He has no filter.
I'm literally a miracle of modern science, and I still can't find a cure for my dad bod.
I think you know the cure.
I think you know you live under my roof rent-free.
Let's just blame Cadmus then, shall we?
Let's. Bowhunter 2 to Bowhunter 1. This is Bowhunter 1. What's wrong, Roy? Job not holding your interest? We were hit by 5 serious metafelons. Status? Jim and I are banged up, but fine. Oh, thank God. Did they steal the hardware? They weren't after the hardware. They were after Harlan.
Simultaneously, the Manta Flyer was soaring southeast across the United States of America. Inside, Monsieur Mala emptied what remained of Harlan Matthews into a clear pod.
What now, monkey boy? Am I supposed to know what that means?
You're supposed to know that a gorilla ain't a monkey.
Yeah. Why doesn't he get one of them thought-to-speech boxes like Brain and the Ultra-Humanite use?
Then he might have to converse with the likes of you.
I don't see you translating.
I reckon he just said something along the lines of, just add water.
Monsieur Mala opened a tank, and water poured into the pod, mixing with the desiccated remains of Harlan Matthews.
It's working.
You think? He still looks pretty dead to me.
The water and the corpse dust swirled about, swish, swish.
There, see?
Creating a consistency of gray-brown mud, or if not mud, clay.
And I reckon that gorilla grunt means, what did I tell you?
Yeah, either that or welcome aboard, Harlan Matthews, a.k.a. Matthew Hagen, a.k.a. Clayface.
Why did you take me?
Wait a minute. You had Clayface working for you?
He was trying to go straight.
It's true. Ever since Robin freed him from Mad Hatter's mind control, Matt Hagen had expressed a desire to turn over a new leaf.
Wait, you knew about this?
I did, but I was helping to treat him, which made him a client, which meant I couldn't break confidence. Hagen's therapists and caseworkers at Arkham had come to believe that he was sincere, so Batman brought me in. Hagen agreed to a psychic scan, and I concurred his rehabilitation was most likely sincere.
Most likely?
Well, I can't be 100% sure, but I thought it was worth the risk. If we could get Matt away from the factors and influences that contributed to his life of crime.
Which I'm guessing make getting him out of Gotham and into a steady job at Bowhunter Security.
Exactly. And he's been a model employee ever since.
Who did Roy say abducted him?
Tuppence Terror, Brick, Monsieur Mala, Captain Boomerang, and, well...
Oh, no.
Father. Black Manta.
That's an eclectic group.
That is Task Force X, also known as Amanda Waller's Suicide Squad.
Aren't all those guys supposed to be in Belle Rev prison?
They still are. But Waller runs a covert government metahuman operation out of Belrev's basement, using convicted metafelons to do her bidding.
And we can assume she wants to add Clayface to her ranks.
Clayface transformed Clayface's fists into giant stone hammers and slammed them, boom, boom, against the glass of Clayface's pod. But Clayface's efforts amounted to no effort at all. The pod did not even crack.
Ah, man, I was out of Arkham, out of the game, out of the life. But you just pulled me back in!
You have Amanda Waller to thank for that.
I wouldn't bother. She never says you're welcome.
It seems she disapproved of Arkham Asylum's leniency, especially with an operative of your potential value.
So I get used again? Weren't Simon Stagg and Mad Hatter bad enough?
Those two are sweethearts compared to Waller.
She's the worst.
If you hate her so much, why work for her?
For the time being, we have no choice.
Wait a minute. Amanda Waller is releasing unrepentant metacriminals into the world? How does she control them?
That is unclear. She spoke of carrots and sticks, but refused to elaborate.
The how doesn't matter. Right now, we have to help Matt Hagen.
Agreed.
Well, the good news is we know where they're headed. Belrev in Louisiana.
The bad news is, if they succeed in getting Clayface into the prison, we have little chance of getting him out.
Why?
The United States government sponsors Waller and will not acknowledge her operation's existence.
Then we out them to the world.
We cannot. Waller knows the team's secrets and has threatened to reveal them.
Let her. I mean, I'm no fan of Clayface, but our secrets aren't worth keeping. Not at the expense of a man's freedom.
God, I love you.
God, I hate the U.S. prison system.
My point is, we agreed to have a pact of mutual non-aggression with Waller. We can't defy that. We can't even mount a covert mission of the team without prior approval from the League.
And by the time we get that, assuming we get that, Clayface will already be at Waller's mercy behind Belrev's walls.
So we have to intercept them before they get behind those walls.
But not as the team. Not in costume.
There's another solution. There's no non-aggression pact between Amanda Waller and Bowhunter Security. So if I paid you each $1, took you on as temps...
That's pretty thin.
Very thin.
Borgia, will you watch the kids?
Forager would be happy to continue watching Amistad Irvin, Leon Wynn Harper.
Then I am just fine with it.
Me too.
Me 3.
I'm in.
Seems we have a plan.
And so, minutes later, after a wardrobe shipment via Zeta Tube from Star City to Happy Harbor, Calderon, Connor Kent, Megan Morse, Artemis Crock, Raquel Irvin, and Will Harper were all dressed in Bowhunter security uniforms and climbing aboard Bowhunter Security's newest rented vehicle.
Bioship is ready. Belrev, here we come.
Fortunately, Forager's friend, Bioship, traveled faster over a shorter distance, beating the Manta Flyer to Louisiana.
Okay, I'm back with more napkins, more punch, and more potato salad. My party! Where is everyone?
Calderon, Connor Kent, Megan Morse, Artemis Crock, Will Harper, and Raquel Irvin departed with an offer of gainful employment.
Wait, they were offered what now?
Forager will tell Lucas Carr the story.
Bioship is camouflaged and locked into the Manta Flyer. Do I engage?
Do not look at me for guidance. This is a Bowhunter operation.
Then I say open fire.
Bioship fired on the Manta Flyer, bringing the Manta Flyer down over
Bayou Bartholomew, February 23, 1616, CST.
Engines out. Stabilizers failing. Brace yourselves. We're going down.
Hi! This lousy tub is sinking!
All right, move. Hatch is open. Grab Clayface's pod.
Are you kidding? I'm not drowning in some swamp. It's every man for himself.
You want to tell the wall you lost for a prize?
No.
Then help. Disconnect those wires before we're all electrocuted. Tuppence and I'll do the heavy lifting.
Oh, fine.
Minutes later, Task Force X was waist deep in swamp muck. Tuppence, Terror, and Brick held Clayface's pod over their heads.
Come on, guys. Just let me out. You can say you lost me in the mud.
Sorry, Face. Waller would know.
Is that the prison?
Yes. I estimate we're 4 miles away. So, is she sending flag? Anyone? She says all other transports are out on missions. We are on our own.
So we have to hoof it 4 miles through a swamp carrying that thing?
Excuse me? Who's carrying it?
Hey, Sheila! I was thinking of you.
Don't call me Sheila, you dink!
Marla is right. Enough arguing. Have you forgotten that an unknown enemy brought down the flyer? We need to be on alert.
Oh, it's too late for that. You're surrounded.
Who the hell are you guys?
Bowhunter security. Always on point.
I told you! Didn't I tell you?
Seriously?
Rent-a-cops? Traveled cross-country to get their guy back?
Those aren't rent-a-cops. That is my son.
Hello, Father. Please surrender Clayface and we can end this peacefully.
That I cannot do.
Then let him have it, gang.
And so the fight was on. Tuppence Terror and Brick dropped Clayface's pod, which sank glug, glug, glug down into the bog, with Clayface still inside.
Hey! Let me out! Let me out!
I'll get Clayface.
Security Officer Megan Morse density shifted her way down, while Security Officer Connor Kent traded blows with Brick. Security Officer Raquel Irvin trapped Tuppence Terror inside a force field bubble.
This thing can't hold me.
Yeah, girl, you keep on punching. I'm sure you'll be out of there in no time.
Security Officer Artemis Croft faced off against Monsieur Mala.
Come on, Mala. How many times have your guys and my guys done this dance over the last 10 years, and how many times have you lost? You're too smart to prolong this for no reason. I mean, look around. You might as well throw down your weapons and surrender.
Security Chief Will Harper took aim at Captain Boomerang.
A security guard who uses a bow and arrow? What were you, president of the Green Arrow fan club?
You have no idea. Besides, you're using boomerangs.
Oi! Boomerangs are way cooler than arrows. Says who? Batman.
Okay, you got me there. I'll trade the bow and arrow for this.
What? A clipboard?
My favorite clipboard.
Oh, you're just a nutter. What are you gonna do? Slap me with it? And look at you. You really think you're ready for this fight, Captain Beerbelly?
Rude.
Oh, what are you gonna do? Cry or call out for pizza?
Will Harper threw his clipboard.
Ha! Missed!
Then used the distraction to clock Captain Boomerang with an uppercut.
Oh. And stay down!
Meanwhile, Security Officer Calderon confronted his father, Black Manta.
Someday I will learn how Amanda Waller has turned the mighty Black Manta into her puppet.
Look who's talking. It was bad enough to see you in Aquaman's uniform. Now you dress like a common mall cop. Have you no dignity?
I wear my dignity on the inside, Father. Where do you keep yours?
The conflict raged on for some time. But Forager will save time by cutting straight to the end of the chase.
That helmet offers consistently less protection than you seem to think, Father.
That just left Brick, who was still battling toe-to-toe with Connor Kent. But when Brick realized he was now surrounded by the entire Bowhunter security squad...
I told them you guys were pains. They just wouldn't listen.
You surrender?
Yeah, I surrender.
Wait, where's McGann? How long has she been down there?
Here I come!
Megan Morse erupted out of the water, telekinetically towing Clayface in Clayface's pod. The adventure was over, except for the cleanup.
Hello? Warden Economos? This is Will Harper calling from Bowhunter Security. We're down in the bayou with 5 metafelons who somehow escaped from your whelmingly inescapable prison.
Great.
Soon, the Bowhunter team was back at the party.
Okay, I can take over the story from here.
Lucas Carr could take over the story if Lucas Carr weren't otherwise needed to burn more hamburgers on Lucas Carr's grill.
I think we have plenty of...
There are more guests. Clayface is here now.
I don't think he even eats food anymore.
No, but
Recognized Arsenal B25, Guardian A45.
If Roy Harper and Jim Harper go hungry, then Lucas Carr will lose.
My reputation as a good host.
Forager agrees.
I can't believe you rescued me.
They don't call us the good guys for nothing.
Well, it means something.
And you are perhaps interested in joining the Justice League?
Nah, I already have a job.
Bowhunter security.
Always on point.
Speaking of jobs, who's watching the Wayne Tech hardware? We figured it was safe enough. I mean, there was one heist there already. Lightning doesn't strike twice.
Yeah, but crooks do. Oh, come on, bro. That gig was even too boring for you.
You know, Roy, if the day job's too dull, you could always get an adrenaline fix by rejoining the team.
Nightwing kicked me off the team, remember?
Yeah, but Nightwing's not here. And in any case, he doesn't lead the team anymore. I do. And I've seen how you've grown over the last few years. I'd love to have Arsenal back.
You know what? You're on.
And that ends Forager's tale of the Suicide Squad versus Bowhunter Security. Only one thing remained.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget why we're here. A toast to the happy couple as we wish them bon voyage on their next great adventure.
Here,
here. Here, here.
Thanks, everyone. You don't know how much your love and support has meant to me, to both of us, over the last 10 years.
Yeah, seriously. Your friendship. That's the real prize.
Never the end.
Wow.
Very nice.
Excellent work, you guys. That was so much fun. I've never gotten to see an episode play out like this.
Forager
None of us have.
Yeah, we've never seen that either.
The first time.
Yeah. If you could just go ahead and go back and re-record all of the episodes over Zoom and put them out online, like, that would be great. I have so many cool, like, fans from around the world have sent me a bunch of questions. The first one comes from Chase Maximus all the way from Malaysia. And
hey, Chase.
I don't know if this falls under the spoiler rule, but he's wondering if there is an official title for season 4 that can be revealed.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can reveal that. Yeah.
Greg
Our
and
4th
Brandon
season is officially titled Young Justice Phantoms.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Which sort of sounds like fandom. It kind of sounds like fandom.
See what you
But
did there.
I'm pretty sure that's
Oh,
what it
well,
is.
Justice
gosh,
Fandom.
She's clever.
Fandom or
She's very
phantom-
clever.
phantom?
Greg, you mentioned, like, possibility of what's going on with the pandemic. Has that, Joseph Golden from the United States is wondering if that has sort of impacted just the process of doing season 4.
It has and it hasn't. I mean, we're all working from home. And for the most part, when it comes to the pre-production, the script writing, the storyboards, design work, we've successfully transitioned to working at home. It's, not quite as much fun to not be in the office and have everyone together. We used to record everyone together as much as possible in a room for the first 3 seasons. Every once in a while, there was someone who couldn't make a session, and that obviously has changed. Everyone is mostly recording one at a time from their closets or
Or their son's lower bunk bed that has like sheets and pillows, and yeah, it's interesting.
Oh, that's a good
fun.
idea.
It's like a
That's
fort.
how- yeah,
It's a recording fort.
But the fact is that we're all pretty lucky working on the show. We're employed. Everyone on the show is healthy. So really can't complain.
And you guys have been doing this for a decade now. Alinta Aruda from Brazil, it sounds like half question, half request. She wants to know if we can expect a bigger presence of the female Justice League members in season 4. And she especially shouts out she loves the Hawkwoman, Wonder Woman episode.
Well, I think we definitely have a lot of content with our female cast. I don't know specifically about the Justice League. I mean, the Justice League's never been the focus of the show. It's always been on the younger heroes. So there's some of the female Justice League members in there, in particular Rocket, who is Denise over there, Raquel. And largely we focus on the team, the outsiders. So you'll see some leaguers because they're part of the original cast who graduated up, but we don't focus on the league's activities so much as we focus on our characters' activities.
Thank you guys so much. This was a blast.
Thank you.
Thank you. I cannot wait to see more. I just want to watch this over and over again. And now we know Young Justice Phantoms when season 4 comes.
Absolutely. It's going to be great.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Released in September. The song is called
I've made a terrible mess of things.
He threw some things together in a beaker and out popped us.
Heyo!
Yes!
Dorothy's missing.
Welcome to DC Fandom. My name is Christian Holub from Entertainment Weekly, and you're watching the Doom Patrol panel. So glad to have you all here watching virtually. I personally am very happy to be moderating this because Doom Patrol is, I would say, easily my favorite superhero show right now. Because of all the crazy things we see, season 2 alone, we've had sex demons, time-traveling roller skate parties, and a demon who thinks he's Jack the Ripper, and that's just in a couple episodes. So I'm so excited to have the cast and creators and producers here to go through season 2 and talk about the show. First up, of course, we have Mr. Timothy Dalton, who plays Niles Calder, aka the Chief. We have Matt Bomer, who plays Larry Traynor, aka Negative Man. Joy Von Wade, who plays Vic Stone, aka Cyborg. April Bowlby, who plays Rita Farr, aka Elasti-Woman. Diane Guerrero, who plays Jane, aka Crazy Jane, aka Hammerhead, aka Baby Doll, aka you know the rest. Abigail Shapiro, who plays Dorothy Spinner. Karen Obalom, who plays Ronnie Evers. Riley Shanahan, who is the on-set performer for Cliff Steele, aka Robot Man. Matthew Zuck, who is the on-set performer for Larry Traynor, aka Negative Man. Jeremy Carver, executive producer and showrunner. Chris Dingus, executive producer. Tamara Becker-Wilkinson, co-executive producer. Everybody ready to get into it?
Booyah!
Yes.
There we go. So kind of wanted to start with a generic question for a lot of you, particularly those of you who were part of the show in season 1. How did kind of the experience of filming season 2 differ from season 1? Were you a little more used to kind of the weirdness and ready to roll with the craziness, or do you still find yourself getting caught off guard by the things in scripts?
First of all, you can never really get used to the craziness and the weirdness because this show is so phenomenal and our team come up with such amazing ideas, and we're constantly looking at the scripts as actors and completely baffled as to how we can get crazier, funkier, wilder in each episode. I think for me personally, one of the best things was that we got to come back and do it all over again, and with a family in which we all resonate with and which we all now understand, and a show and a world in which we don't fully understand, but we're getting to grips in this wacky and weird world. And so, yeah, being able to come back and do it all over again, knowing what we're getting ourselves into was a big thing for me, definitely.
Well, I wanted to do the flip side of that and kind of ask Ronnie and Abigail, since your characters are introduced to the show this season, what's it been for you guys navigating this weirdness, and have your co-stars make you feel any more at home?
It's been really cool, actually.
This is like my first TV gig ever, so I'm just so grateful that I had such a great experience and everything, and to be like working on this show in particular, because I've gotten to do things I've always wanted to do as an actor. So that's been really cool. And I just had such a great time reading all the scripts. They're so well written and insane, and I couldn't wait to read the next one.
Same. I mean, those scripts are just insane. I was like, how are we gonna film this? I love that my character also is like kind of like a sliver of kind of normalcy. It kind of gives you a break from all the wackiness. I feel bad for kind of taking Cyborg away from his friends, but hey, she needs love.
It was for a good reason, Ronnie.
Yeah, we've seen in like every scene you guys are in.
In the bed.
In the bed.
In the bed all the time.
You know, even though so much happened in season 1, in season 2, we're really digging in even more on some of these characters, learning things about their backstories, especially, you know, Larry and Rita come to mind as characters. We're learning a little bit more about their family relationships and things before they joined the Doom Patrol. I'm just curious, you know, did Jeremy, Chris, Tamara, what kind of conversations did you guys have with the actors going into season 2 about how the characters are going to develop, or what more we're learning about them?
Well, I mean, first, as the writing sort of crew, we're going through for several weeks and we're figuring out character arcs and the such. And then I sat down with each of these folks and sort of like walked them through what their arc was looking like for the season, just so they have an idea, because nutty stuff, I guess that you could say, happens during the course of the season. You want them to see the sort of grounded arc that's actually coursing through all of the craziness, and just to give them a strong basis to start the season and get an understanding of beginning, middle, and end to the extent that we know it. That's what we try and do every season with the cast, to the extent that we know the answers, just so they can have a little bit of a roadmap for themselves.
Well, kind of one of the big things kind of carrying us from the end of season 1 into the new season is that at the end of season 1, you know, we learned that Niles, the chief, who all the characters saw as some kind of parental or father figure, that he was in fact responsible for a lot of the stuff that's happened to them. The 1-2 punch of that is that we also have met Dorothy, who is kind of his justification for all those things he's done, and ways to protect her. That kind of carries through the season, I think, as the team is kind of processing that. And I'm curious, you know, Timothy, did that change your performance at all? That you know, this character is really in a position now where he has to be asking for forgiveness and leniency, maybe a little more than he's used to?
Well, it depends what you mean. I think a performance changes all the time. It's an organic thing. And in one situation, you'll behave one way. In another situation, you'll behave in a completely different way, which is good. It brings texture and depth. The new is excellent. Surprise is excellent. And we get plenty of surprises on the show.
Definitely. I'll throw to Diane, because Jane is a character who seems to have kind of relied on the chief a little bit for being a grounded presence in her life, despite the kind of a horrible history she has with parenting. Not being able to rely on the chief, how has that kind of changed Jane's decision making this season?
She's relied on the chief a lot, and I think that we see that starts to change even in first season. So she decides to rely on other methods to cope, and you see where that gets her, and then eventually she sees that she needs this family. I mean, as she starts to empathize with everyone else's trauma as well, and she sees that it's not just her who's having all of these, or this emotional, going through this emotional roller coaster on her own. She sees that maybe the chief is not her primary source of protection. I think she starts relying on the team.
And of course, the chief is far from the only parental figure in a lot of these characters' lives. They've kind of inherited some messed up things from their parents, which we see this season. And so I'm curious, you know, April, Joyvon, Abigail, can you guys speak at all to kind of how your characters are reckoning with kind of their parental relationships and what they've kind of been left by their parents?
I think Rita suffers from imposter syndrome. And I think her whole life, being informed that her mother got her these jobs by doing lewd acts. She doesn't know where she stands. She doesn't feel like she belongs anywhere. And so it's informed her decisions. And that's why in season 1, she's such a narcissistic person, because she's protecting that idea that she has of herself, that she's not worth anything. And so in season 2, she starts to let her guard down. She starts to actually look at her past and see the damage that the parental figure in her life has caused, and she claims it. And so she starts to see these powers as not a weakness but an ability that she can use. And instead of getting stressed out, now she starts using it to stretch and to grow. And the only way she can do that is to look at her damage and to acknowledge it and grow past it.
I think Big Vic Stone is helping her to control that or work out that element. Not to take any credit for it, guys. He's helping her, maintain her gloop. And I think for Vic, the biggest thing is for him is that Niles was essentially his a father figure to him, and I really look at Silas as more of a parental guardian than a father or than a dad. The relationship between Vic and Silas is very much a relationship in which warrants
Hey
progress
guys, I
as
am back.
opposed to actually looking
I'm
at
about
the
to end it.
emotional well-being
I
of
do
Vic, and
appreciate
that's a
everybody
constant back and forth. Hence why Vic decided to
supporting my
stay with
channel,
Doom Patrol. He's now
and
got a
I hope
family.
you guys have a
He doesn't.
nice day.
He hasn't felt,
Please
especially since the
stay tuned
accident,
for
that
it
he has a
later
family.
tonight.
And since and that's why he's seeking for that and
The
goes off
Plague
and
Tale
is
Innocence,
against it at first, but once he does come around to
and
coming and meeting Doom
I hope
Patrol,
you
he
guys
starts to
have
feel and see that
a
void in which
lovely
is
time
starting to be filled from the family, in
for
which
your
he
life,
doesn't essentially feel like
and
he has,
see you till
which
tonight.
allows him to be more open and to see what all of the other
Well,
gang are doing and
yeah.
how they're dealing with